What's up, guys? How we doing? So I know you're all here for, Pride Month, right? Because in a motocross, it's a long tradition. We always support Pride Month. If you can't tell, that's sarcasm. This is ridiculous. It's stupid. And man, the stupidity of the people that run our sport never ceases to amaze me. So a lot of riders were under the weather, and Deegan was one of them, but you'd never know with that performance. But if you haven't tried Nano-Xtreme, I'm telling you, if you have aches and pains, which we all do, this is the easiest solution and the best solution that I've probably ever used. So give it a try. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY, and get free shipping. Last weekend, Racing in the Heat was a reminder of how we need to stay hydrated. Well, Coach Rob has a couple formulas that are specific to everybody and will keep you as hydrated as you possibly can. So check out his Energy Fuel and the Energy Fuel bundles and get your custom drink at CompleteRacingSolutions.com. And one of you lucky members is going to win the new Power Sports XQi3 motorcycle that we're giving away in December. All you got to do is be a member and you are signed up to win this bike. Members will get something every single month.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, so seriously, who in the heck thought this was a good idea? Honestly, what out of touch woke moron decided that our sport about kids, about effort, should be promoting anything that has to do with someone's sexual behavior? I just don't understand the Pride movement. I don't understand it. Why do I care what you do in your bedroom? Why do I care what you do with your partner? I don't. I'm not going around saying, hey, I have sex with women and I'm proud. I'm proud to have only banged women, because that would be stupid. And that's exactly what they're doing the other way. They're going, oh, I have sex with the same sex and I'm proud. Well, good for you. Okay, well, keep it to yourself. And I'm not encouraging any hate towards anyone. Gay people should be able to express however they feel with their partner, the same as heterosexual. If I see a heterosexual couple making out in public, I'm like, come on, man, get a room. It's gross. Same thing for gays. It's no different. I don't know why they're acting like there's different rules. Now, some people get upset when they hold hands. I couldn't care less. If you want to hold hands with your partner, go for it. I got no issues with that. But these movements are created to cause a divide. They're created to cause a rift. They hide behind the ideals of, let's accept everybody, when in reality, these people that put these movements out there, they know damn well they're going to create division. That is what has happened to our world in the last 15 years. They have used race, sexual orientation, and anything they can to keep us, the people, fighting so we're not together to see what the hell they're doing to our country. I 100% believe the trans movement is just a big psyop, because if they can convince you and I that a man is a woman and a woman is a man, they got mind control. They got us at that point. If you can't agree on one of the most basic things in reality, then they've got you. That is why the trans movement bothers me so much, because I really don't believe it has anything to do with somebody's whatever they want to dress up as a person. What I don't want them reading stories in drag to children and indoctrinating children to a lifestyle that is, I'll be honest, it's a little creepy. But I'm not judging. If you want to be a full-grown adult and dress up as a woman when you know you were born a man, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. But stay away from the kids, man. Stay away from the kids. And if you're a man and you want me to call you a woman, no problem. But don't freak out if I accidentally get it wrong, because, well, you are actually a man. But if you want me to call you a woman, I will. I don't really care. That's your prerogative. But if you want to know how out of touch Davey Coombs, Steve Mattress, Vital MX, and all these people in this mainstream motocross media are, they are so out of touch with the actual fans of the sport and the people that love the sport. I don't hear any of them speaking up saying this is a bad idea. In fact, Mattress is out there trying to defend it, but the spineless bastard that he is, apparently he put up a tweet and then got so much hate and he backed down. Like, stand for what you believe in. Stop being just such a mattress. Think about some of the causes that we should be trying to promote. We should be promoting, let's start with flaggers. We should have a permanent flagging crew. So take all your gay pride and add that towards getting a permanent flagger crew. Poor Trevor Collop, I don't know how bad his injuries were, but that was because of poor flagging. We don't have a traveling crew that goes to every round. We don't have enough lights. They're too busy supporting a pride movement than actually taking care of the riders, the sport itself. And let's not forget, Davey Coombs had a known sex offender at Loretta Lynn's renting golf carts. And when it was brought to his attention, he didn't just say, oh my gosh, I didn't know, it slipped through the cracks. He was pissed. He actually defended the sex offender and the family. You know, when they go back into Storyland, that's the Story family who've helped them get Loretta Lynn's off the ground forever. But since they've helped Loretta Lynn's, you're supposed to cover for a known sex offender, a violent one. This is not some dude that just got caught peeing on the side of the road. He had a violent act with, I believe, a 13-year-old girl. And while that family might have done some nice things for Loretta Lynn's, I don't care. You cannot have a known sex offender renting golf carts at a youth event. But hey, let's celebrate Pride Month. Let's be inclusive. Let's definitely support Pride Month, but let's kick Road to Recovery out of the pits because we want to support movements that matter, right? And God forbid those dirtbags at Road to Recovery collecting money for injured riders and actually taking care of them and helping them. But it's more important to talk about Davey Coombs and Steve Mattress's sexual preference. Yeah, that makes sense. Apparently, they've asked the teams to decorate their bikes similar to military appreciation. Let me just tell you guys, if you're a team and you got this memo, don't do it. You want to Bud Light yourself, you want to alienate all your fans, you want to make your riders the least popular out there, go ahead and do that. Let's leave sexual preference out of the sport. Let's talk about the racing. Let's talk about anything around the sport other than sexual preference. That's ridiculous. I would feel just as pissed off if it were heterosexual month of the, like if they had heterosexual month, I'd be like, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? Why do we care? This is the wrong place and the wrong time to promote either. Either you're gay, you're straight. I don't care. I really don't, but I don't want to hear about it when I'm trying to focus on sports. Keep that in the bedroom. Keep it on dating shows. Don't leave it like this is the wrong place, wrong time. There's kids around. I don't want you trying to educate my kids. I will educate my kids however I feel like it. Stop with your parades trying to indoctrinate them into something that you see as right, but other people don't. How about you let families do it on their own? And I'll tell you what, I think people will be a lot more accepting of the gay movement if you stop jamming it down everyone's throat. And the minute that they fight back at all, they're considered homophobic. Now, I could be wrong, and there are some homophobic people out there. But in general, I don't think people really care. They don't really care. They just want to get on with their lives and do what they do in their bedroom. You do what you do in your bedroom. If you want to hold hands with your partner, go ahead. I hope nobody's giving shit to people who are just holding hands and doing normal stuff. But I know there is some hatred out there. But of all the issues in the world to focus on with this sport, this is the one they chose. It just makes me want to puke. Seriously, what about all our injured riders? What about getting a permanent flagging crew? What about getting rid of tough blocks? So many issues that actually pertain to the sport that we all love. It just lets you know how out of touch these promoters are. They don't have a clue who we are, nor do they care. They just want to take your money, take all of our money, use us for what they can, and they don't give a shit. They do not give a shit about any of us. That's Davey Coombs, that's Feld, MX Sports. All these f***ers don't care about us. Mattress is such a good little puppy dog. He would promote, if they really wanted him to, and they said, hey, Steve Mattress, we're going to promote Nazis this month. He would come out and promote them. That's how bought and paid for he is. I hope you guys can see what's happening here, but they all call me crazy. Meanwhile, they're all following that same narrative. Vital, Racer X. Yeah, they're dumbasses. And there's a few good media outlets out there still trying to fight the good fight. Ping over at Whiskey Throttle, he's trying to do the dance, keep access, but also say what he thinks. Ping's doing a good job over at Whiskey Throttle. You got Dirt Bike Lover, he's doing a good job. I really like the stories they put up over there. He actually goes with things that are entertaining that people want to know about. If they put something up on Dirt Bike Lover, it's not to spin a narrative. They're actually just putting up what they think people want to hear or what they want to talk about. But that's all I have on Pride Month. It's stupid, it creates division, and it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help the gay movement. It doesn't help the straight movement. Is there even one of those? I don't know if there is. How about we all just be our own individuals and do what we want and say what we want, and we all don't have to group think. They are trying to get us all to group think, and that we need to avoid. With that is the real thing that I think all these different movements are trying to do. They're trying to make us all think the same. Because if we all think the same, it's easier to change one person than it is to have a bunch of free thinkers who actually question why and what we're doing. And it's really gross how this sport is a kind of a mimic of society. The media is all a bunch of woke liberals like Davey Coombs, Vital MX, Steve Mattress, and most of the participants are, normal people who think with logic and think with reason. A lot of them call themselves right-wing, but I don't call myself left or right. All right, I've been ranting enough. That's enough. That's more time than Pride Month should ever get on my show in the history ever. I could think it's stupid and it needs to go away. How about you just have human pride? How about we're all happy to be human beings and living on this earth? I feel like we're living in idiocracy right now. The way that the group think tries to turn everybody just disgusts me. But that's enough. I got to move on. I got to get on to Deegan and that savage performance. Check out Ride Strap. That's a company that actually thinks for themselves. They got cool goggles, glasses, shirts. Check out ridestrap.com. Precision Transport, a shipping company that truly believes in customer service. They're family owned. If you have some shipping needs for you or your business, hit up pretransport.com and let the Madden family get you dialed in. We got about 3 weeks until the new 2026 Alias motocross gear drops. You're going to want to move fast because it will sell out quick. This is high quality, good stuff, and you won't look like every other rider at the track. AliasMX.com. So when I heard about all this Pride stuff, I had to think back to what Chance Hymas was wearing walking into Paula. I wonder if they saw that and went, oh, look at Chance Hymas. It's time. They're accepting of the Pride movement. Well, they should have looked at B-Ray because that's more like what we are. And that has got to be embarrassing for Hymas to come in there looking like a metrosexual, upper level, trying to be the cool kid. And then he goes out there and just gets... Literally, Deegan took the newspaper and smacked the puppy on the nose, and the puppy cried and went to the corner. That's exactly what has happened to Chance Hymas to start this season. He was talking big before that first moto in Paula, and it has been all downhill since then, to the point where now they're leaning on excuses, food poisoning. He didn't even show up for the second moto. For me, this is more than just Hymas having a bad start to the season. This is his character being revealed. This is a guy who was plucked from the amateurs by Lucas Myrtle. Lucas went out of his way, pulled strings to get Chance Hymas on factory Honda, and the second something bumped with Myrtle, fired him instantly. I have no tolerance for people who don't have any loyalty whatsoever. And that lack of character seems to be spilling onto the track. He doesn't have heart. He doesn't have what Deegan has out there on that track. Deegan was sick too. Deegan went out and went 1-1. Deegan's a beast. He doesn't fold like Hymas did. And I'll tell you what, Deegan is so good. We have never had a 125 or 250 rider any time ever go undefeated in the outdoors. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the guys are younger, they're more inconsistent. We've had 3 guys have undefeated season in the 450 class, but it's never been done in the 250 class. Can Deegan be the only one in the history of the sport to go undefeated on a 250? I'll tell you what, that would be a nice feather in his cap, and that'll be a record that will be hard to match, if ever, because you don't get as many opportunities in the 250 class to win that and go undefeated. Where you get in the 450 class, you're in there for a long time. 250s, if you're really good, you only get 2 or 3 real chances at it before you get bumped out. So if Deegan can get it done, it will be one of the most historic and impressive results that I can ever remember seeing. It would make the rivalry when he gets to Jet even that much more exciting. Not that we need anything on that. That is going to be, I don't know, I'm crossing my fingers, making sure everything goes right, because there's a lot of things that still have to fall into place to make sure that Deegan and Jet have this rivalry that I think they will have. But speaking of high-quality character guys like Hayden Deegan, you got Joe Shimoda, who stood by Lucas Myrtle as long as he could, and he put up with so much crap. And you know what? That's who Joe Shimoda is. He did everything in his power to make the right decisions and think for himself. And it's crazy how that is actually spilling over onto the track, and he's getting really good results. He's clearly the second best guy, and if Deegan falters at all, Joe's right there to take advantage. Deegan's won all 4 motos, and he's only got a 12-point lead. That is literally the smallest gap you can have from first to second. And Levi Kitchen, just what the doctor ordered. He just needs to rebuild this year. He might be the guy towards the end of the year that's the threat to Deegan if he does take this undefeated much longer into the season. Millville and some of these tracks that Levi Kitchen's really fast, and he's got nothing to lose. He's just going to be going for moto wins and trying to make sure that Deegan doesn't drop an undefeated season on everybody. These guys have pride. They don't want that to happen. And I told you guys, Casey Cochran, watch him at Hangtown. I know he didn't finish good, but remember, he's coming off a nasty, nasty hip femur injury that could have ended his career. So he's going to take a little bit of time to build into it. But this kid is so good. Watch when people are trying to pass him. He has a sixth sense on where people are, and he is so good at taking their lines and frustrating them. I can't wait until he's a consistent front runner and be able to do this all the time. It's coming. And I had a lot of people talking to me about Lance Kobush. Oh, that's so awesome. Such a great story. Is it? Is it though? Listen, I don't want to rain on the parade because he rode out of his mind for 2 laps to lead, which is incredibly impressive. Part of me goes, wow, that's crazy. But what it shows me is he has this talent, but he clearly isn't putting in the work. If you can do it for 2 laps, you should be able to do it for the entire moto. What's he not doing at home? Is he not dedicated? Like what's missing from this program? Because it's obviously not talent and speed. So while it's cool to see him run up front, my question is, okay, well, where has this been the last 5 years? Why can't you do this consistently? What are you not doing at home? Are you not working hard enough? Let's get this fixed and get you up there all the time, Lance Kobush. MXGP in Germany. The bullet is back, but I'll break that down tomorrow. Thank you, members. You're all entered to win the Coach Rob Energy Fuel Bundle. Appreciate you guys so much. Here's your member of the day.